Okay guys, as I pointed out in my last video, this is part 2 of looking for the definitive G1 Optimus, or at least my opinion of what the definitive G1 Optimus here. And here we have round 2. We've got G1 Optimus in front, and we've got MP10 there in the back. And obviously we're going to compare their vehicle modes first. And honestly, it's hard to call a winner in this category. I think that you have a little bit more flexibility with G1 Optimus. One, because he's a bit smaller, which actually is kind of a benefit in a way. Also, as far as how far he'll turn with his trailer, I mean, there's almost, he'll go a long way, and then, you can pull him along, and of course his trailer is straightened out. That's really neat, because you can get him some tight, angles there to move him around, whereas MP10 is much more restricted as far as the angle goes. This is probably, quote, more realistic to life than what this is, but as far as, how fun is it? It's actually more fun to have that more unrestricted movement. Now, which one do I think looks better in vehicle mode? That is a tough one. Almost a dead heat. I rate them both, pretty darn close to perfect. I love the way both of them look in vehicle mode, honestly. Maybe MP10 is probably more accurate to the cartoon model, but I just love the way G1 Optimus looks in vehicle mode. That might just be because of the fact that, I grew up with this. I got this on Christmas morning when I was like 6 years old, so that might just be, I don't know if nostalgia is really what's driving my extreme love of G1 Optimus's vehicle mode, but I love it. But I love MP10 also, vehicle mode. I like them both quite a bit. Now, as far as the functionality of the trailers, it's pretty similar for both of these guys in vehicle mode. Obviously, with G1 Optimus here, can pop open the back. Roller can come right out, and Roller's holding his gun, which is pretty neat. And as you can see in this, this is the Hasbro reissue from probably 10 years ago now, or a little more. And this Roller here is gray, which is cartoon accurate, actually, rather than G1 toy accurate, because on the original G1 toy, Roller was blue, as he is on MP10 as well. But yeah, this is more, quote, show accurate. And another thing about G1 Optimus, of course, is the G1 cars, and just an idea of the scale. Actually, they scale pretty well together. And of course, you could always fit one deluxe, usually in his trailer. A little bit of a tight fit, but he fits. And Optimus can transport one deluxe car in there. And of course that pops open. And he rolls right back out of there. Pretty neat. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here so you can really see the detail on G1 Optimus. Even though most of you watching this video probably already have a G1 Optimus, but there's lots and lots of molded detailing on this toy. You got all the, I don't know how well this is showing up on the camera, but you got all sorts of pop rivets there on his arms. Plus, you got lots and lots of molded detail there on the side of the trailer. On the top of the trailer, you don't really have any detailing, but that's, whatever. And on the back, you got some molded detailing there on the door. Now, one thing you can do with this trailer is you can have an attack mode here. Oops. And to do that, you just get that guy out of the pop him up out of the middle of Optimus's trailer, and then he can like turn around and, you know, be a big old gun right there with those missile launchers he has. Boom, boom, right? Pretty neat, you know. That's really cool. So that's pretty much gonna wrap up what I'm gonna say about G1 Optimus in the vehicle mode. Now I'll just go ahead here, kind of roll him out of the way, and now we're gonna just compare MP10. And he can pretty much do everything that G1 Optimus can do in vehicle mode as well, except for the he does have the more limited turn radius, for lack of a better term, there on his because of the way he hooks up to his trailers compared to G1 Optimus. But you can his doors are a little harder to open because of the design of the trailer here, but you can get it. There it is. But I gotta say, this is much more cartoon accurate, right? Because he had the ramp down and the two doors in the cartoon, and of course, out comes Roller, which is this is G1 toy accurate, him being blue, and he's holding Optimus's gun just the same way as G1 Roller did. And now we're going to talk about scale with this guy. And he scales exceedingly well, of course, with the recent Masterpiece figures. And of course, we got the whole into the trailer deal right there. He fits real nice. The Masterpiece card, just one's going to fit in there. So we'll just roll him right out. Get him off to the side. Now, let's see. And of course, we can do that attack mode that we did, because he's got these little tabs right here. They just fold down. And that'll make a little hole there in the middle of the trailer for this guy to kind of pop out and be there. Now, you don't have as many posability options with him, with this arm thing, as you do on G1 Optimus, because on G1 Optimus you have basically 2 points of articulation of him on the outside. This one you've only got 1 point of articulation on the outside, but that's okay. No big deal. And as far as his missiles go, you can actually take the missiles from the G1 toy. They're supposed to fit. I've actually never tested this before. Oh, okay, they do fit, but they don't launch, which really isn't that big of a deal. But the missiles are confirmed. Looks like they do fit in there. So you can have kind of the attack mode that you have with G1 Optimus there. You know, which is pretty neat, right? And you can actually do a few things with this trailer that you can't do with G1 Optimus. But before I go into that, I'll just show off the detailing on MP10 a little bit and show how, yeah, it is improved over G1 Optimus, there's no doubt. He doesn't have nearly as many pop rivets on his cab, but that's no big deal. He has a lot, but he's got a lot more molded detailing here on the trailer portion. Now, one thing that is kind of cool about this isn't just a sticker on this one. This is actually painted on, and we have a raised Autobot logo. I really like that. On the top of the trailer, we actually have the pop rivets. It's not just detail-less. And on the back, honestly, we have some really outstanding detail there. That's a pretty realistic looking rear of a trailer. I really like that. Detailing on the doors, the whole 9 yards. We got really nice tail lights there and rear bumper. Just really nice looking. And roller can actually do something for MP10 that G1 roller can't do for G1 Optimus. You can actually flip around this piece here, fold this down, and come on, baby. There we go. Roller can actually attach to the trailer. And then you got all those crazy angles that I was talking about with G1 Optimus. That's pretty cool, because that never, you know, G1 roller can't do that. So that's definitely a really nice, appreciated touch. But as far as which one do I think is the more definitive Optimus in vehicle mode, I can't call it. I can't even say which one I like better. They're both awesome. You know, I equally kind of love them both in vehicle mode. They're nice. They're both really nice. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pause this thing and get these guys transformed into robot mode, and then we'll talk about their robot modes and call a winner. Okay, guys, here I have G1 Optimus and MP10 transformed and into their respective robot modes. And for size comparison, to see the scale, I figured I'd go ahead and grab Masterpiece Sideswipe and G1 Red Alert. Now, I realize that's a different character comparison, but again, it's the same mold, identical mold for G1 Sideswipe, so the comparison still does hold up. And honestly, you can definitely tell they definitely went for the same scale in Masterpieces they went for in G1, because, of course, these G1 toys here were originally Diaclone releases, part of the same line, so they were designed more or less to be in scale with each other. Basically, Red Alert's head comes up to the lower part of G1 Optimus' stomach, and it's honestly the same thing for Masterpiece Sideswipe. So they really did an awesome job of maintaining the scale across the two, you know, the two eras here. I really love the fact that the Masterpiece is really just an upsized and much better version of G1. That's exactly what it is. So I'm going to go ahead and move the newer Masterpieces here. We'll move these guys off to the side. We're going to talk about G1 Optimus a bit in robot mode before we talk about MP10. Now, one thing, I'm sure, I'm going to go ahead and lower the camera here, so just bear with me, guys. One thing I'm sure you guys did as kids is you'd have the G1 Optimus's trailer basically act as like a portable base. You know, you could fit the Autobots in there, kind of have them hanging out, whatever, getting ready for battle or devising a strategy or whatever. And that works really well with G1 Optimus's trailer. You know, deployed like this in what I guess what you could call base mode. One other cool thing is Roller here, of course, can just basically plug in, because he's got these two pegs here, and there's two holes right there, and boom. Now, unfortunately, mine doesn't have a spring, but the original G1 toy, there was a spring. You'd push the button and would launch Roller and make him just, you know, roll down the ramp there, which is pretty cool. And this was one of my favorite things to do as a kid, you know. Worked real well. This was just a lot of fun. And then this guy here, I guess, could be like a battle drone, repair drone, whatever. He's got the little spinning radar dish to watch out for any, you know, just all kinds of cool stuff with this trailer in this mode. I'm going to go ahead and remove these two guys here. And we're going to take a close look at the trailer detailing. Now, granted, most of the detailing on this thing are stickers. But again, this is a G1 figure. So it's not really surprising that you have so many stickers. And one thing that I noticed about this here is, I'm going to go ahead and zoom in so you can see some of these stickers a little bit better. This here looks like it's some kind of a readout for a maybe what Teletran 1 scanned to kind of come up with something to do for their alt modes or whatever. You know, it was like basically over here he had the data of, you know, the car, and then maybe it was like, oh, how can we integrate it onto this robot chassis? I don't know if it's meant that or if I'm just reaching or whatever, but I think that's pretty cool. I mean, it shows some foresight on the part of the designers of this original toy. It's real cool, and it's just, you got a bunch of random stickers here. One thing, the most famous sticker though, probably, and this has been discussed various places on the internet, is actually this sticker right here. I don't know if you guys recognize this or not, but this has actually appeared. This was a screen capture originally on the original Star Trek series, of all things. It showed the, I believe it was the Romulan neutral zone or something. I just find that an amusing anecdote, little factoid that I kind of find funny. You know, trailer, pretty freaking cool. And it comes with one thing MP10 doesn't. This gas hose, or energon hose, or whatever you want to call it. And G1 Optimus, it can either go on a roller, or, if you want, man, hard time getting into. There we go. Or G1 Optimus can hold it, you know, without an issue. So maybe, you know, he can fuel himself, right? Anyway, that's just a nice little accessory that they included. So I'll just go ahead and take that out of his hand. The trailer deployed, original G1 trailer, a lot of fun deployed as base mode. Now I'm going to talk just about G1 Optimus himself, the actual figure in robot mode. Obviously, like a lot of other G1 toys, he's not incredibly cartoon accurate. You know, the overall feel is there from the cartoon, but as you can see, does he look like Optimus on the cartoon? Yes and no. I mean, just that's basically what it boils down to. Do I like him? Absolutely. Even though this figure is not highly accurate to the cartoon, it is loaded down with charm. I mean, I love the way he looks overall. He does have better articulation than, honestly, a lot of G1 toys. But the problem is, a good chunk of it's useless. He's got, you know, his feet can move up and down. He does bend at the knee, and he bends back there at the back of the leg, but you can't really have him stand and doing anything else with his legs. So yes, they do move those points on his legs, but it doesn't really help the toy that much because that's the only way he's going to stand, is just to have him rigid and straight. His head, this is part of the transformation. He can look up a little bit, basically, if you want him to. If you do any more than just a little, though, it looks real silly because obviously that's just one piece for his transformation. His arms, he's got a few points of articulation. His shoulders can move backwards. They can rotate, actually. He does bend at the elbow, rotates around at the elbow, and his fists aren't actually part of him. I mean, they're separate pieces, but, you know, they can rotate around. So he has, honestly, better articulation than a good chunk of the G1 toys. You know, and he is nice. He's definitely worth having. And if I had to give him a scale of 1 to 10 of what I think he looks like in robot mode, I think he's a good solid 7. He looks good. He looks real good, but he's not all that accurate. So I'm going to have to just give him a 7. Maybe, yeah, 6.5 or a 7. I mean, he's a good solid figure in robot mode, but honestly, you know, he's more than, by this time, the design is more than 30 years old, and it's definitely showing its age. Compared to the newer designs. He's pretty good, but there honestly are ones that are a lot better now. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of move him out of frame here. And now we're going to talk about MP10's trailer a little bit. Let me just get G1 trailers down there on the ground. Bear with me, guys. Okay, get him out of the way. Alright. An MP10's trailer. Obviously, as you guys can see, there aren't any stickers on this thing, and but there is a ton And I mean an absolute ton of molded detail. Let me go ahead and just move the camera up real quick. That way we can, since we're dealing with a taller figure now, we can get in frame a little more easily. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put this up on its side. And we got tons and tons and tons of molded detailing in here. You know, and as you can see, it's a very similar motif to G1 Optimus's trailer, obviously. I mean, it's going to be. This is the same, designed to be very similar. You kind of got the same kind of drone right here, you know. He's got the, just get him down there. We got Spike in there, but we're not going to talk about him too much because he's really kind of irrelevant. We got the spinning radar dish again. We got the repair arm, the whole 9 yards. That's pretty neat. We got the 2 little seats there that were in the original G1 trailer also. And just tons and tons and tons of molded detailing. And it looks pretty cool. You know, I may eventually buy the Repro labels set for MP10 because honestly, it's a little bland looking, even with the molded detailing, without the colors and stuff that were in the G1 Optimus's trailer. It is a bit bland looking compared to that. It's not bad, but just a little bit bland. So I'm going to go ahead and set it down here, and we're just gonna do kind of the similar comparison. Remember how I said with G1 Optimus, one thing we'd love to do as kids is kind of the mobile base of operations for the Autobots or whatever. That actually doesn't work quite as well with the Masterpieces because the Masterpieces are such larger toys. You can't fit as many of them on there. They're a little more cramped. Man, it looks decent, but it's it doesn't work as well as the G1 toy did. So, you know, such is life, right? So let me go ahead and put down a Sideswipe there. And I'll move the trailer out of the way. And then we'll talk about MP10's robot mode as compared to G1 Optimus's. Let's get him positioned a little bit better. And, you know, honestly, this mold does kind of really blow away G1 Optimus in robot mode. The way he looks, yeah, he is much better than G1 Optimus. No contest. In fact, I mentioned this in my previous video. There is an Ultimetal version of Optimus coming out soon. It's basically like a high-end collectible version of him. He doesn't transform. He's just like, they're trying to make the most perfect G1 Optimus they can. It's going to cost like $1,000, between $800 and $1,000, depending on which online retailer you get them from. I'm not going to be picking that up. That's a ridiculous price for a toy, for one, just in my opinion. And secondly, this mold is so good that I don't think they're going to do better than G1 Optimus. I've seen the Ultimetal pictures of it anyway, and it, to me, doesn't really look any better than this. This looks, to me, just as good as the $1,000 Ultimetal version they're coming out with. If this thing looks as good as a $1,000 toy, what's the point of trying to, you know, get a different Optimus? This thing is just blows away, you know, the other Optimuses that I have. He is by far, in my opinion, the best one. He's got a good amount of articulation as you would expect. He's got the foot movement. He rotates there at the top of the knee, bends to the top of the knee, forward, back, in, out at the leg, rotates the top of the leg, torso rotation. Rotates there at the shoulder. He's got the joint to pop out. He's got extra movement there. Elbow rotates, bends. Wrist rotate. He's got 3 fingers there. He's got this finger, his pointer finger's got 2 joints so he can point out if he wants to. His head's got, you know, all sorts of action there. Got a real nice looking neck. I mean, this thing, in my opinion, this here, we have a new winner. G1 Optimus is really good. Don't get me wrong. And he's definitely an iconic toy. And if you are any sort of a G1 fan at all, or an Optimus Prime fan, you need to have a G1 Optimus. You just do. And there have been a million reissues of them. Honestly, in my opinion, they almost flooded the market with reissues of G1 Optimus. And you should be able to find one for a decent price, and you definitely should pick one up. But, you know, if I have to pick a winner, it's going to be MP10. To me, he is the new definitive Optimus Prime, at least G1 Optimus Prime. He is the definitive one. I don't think they're going to do a better G1 Optimus than him. Anyway, I really hope you enjoyed watching this, and I will see you guys next time.